Hey everybody, this is Kim at English for Life Academy. Just waiting for everybody to show up here. We have about 5 more minutes before we get started. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. I hope you're getting your questions ready. I'm just going to get myself organized here, make sure everything is ready to go while we're waiting. I would love for you to say hello to me in the comment box. I see Jenny. Hello. I'm here. I'm glad you are. Okay. I think we have everything we need. So we're just gonna wait a little bit here for some more people to show up. We have a few more minutes before 3 o'clock. In the meantime, please introduce yourself. Say hello and tell me where you are listening from. Jenny, I wonder if you're the Jenny I met in Clemson a few days ago. No, yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it? Okay. Got a few more things I need to do here to get organized, and then we'll be ready to get started. Okay, while we're getting ready here, I'm gonna just get my screen share ready to go. Then you don't have to watch me looking like trying to figure this all out here. Let me put up this first slide, and then you're gonna come back to me. You can see me again in a minute, but get this up here while I'm getting organized. Okay, everybody, we're just about ready to get started. I am really excited that you're here. Okay, guys, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I know we still have some folks getting ready to join us, but in the meantime, we'll go ahead and start talking. I don't want to waste anybody's time. This is scheduled to take about an hour. I have about 30 to 40 minutes of information and stuff mostly questions that people ask me all the time that I hope I can answer for you today. And also, I would love to hear your questions. So you see on the left side of your screen, hopefully me, hello. And then on the right side, you should have a chat box that you can talk to me. I can type back to you or speak back to you, obviously. So I'm looking forward to that. Let me hear your questions, your ideas, and I'm going to be refreshing that page. So if I don't get to your question immediately, that doesn't mean that I don't have it. It just means I'll be getting to it within the next few minutes. I will make sure to answer all of your questions before we're done today. So first, I would love to know that you can hear me and see me and that you're there. So could you please type into the box? Just say hello, let me know where you are, and let me know that you can see me and that you can hear me. That helps me a lot. When you're doing a webinar like this, you're kind of talking into air, and I know you're there and I know you're listening, but it makes it a little weird. Okay, great. I'm seeing your comments and I thank you. Great. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Move over to some pictures to show you so you don't have to just look at my face the whole time. So let me move over to my pictures. Okay, so this is an informational session for you about teaching English overseas. Teach, travel, transform your world is one of our mottos and slogans that we use because for all of us who work here and who have come through our program, teaching overseas is such a transformational experience that it all kind of goes together for us. We are going to give you 3 easy steps today to find the best TESOL, TESOL, TEFL certificate course without losing your mind in the process, because it can get a little bit troublesome. Look at all those acronyms already. You don't have to think you're losing your mind already. We're going to go through all this. So let me start by telling you who I am. I know some of you already. Hello, if we've met before. If we haven't, this is me, and showing you some pictures of me. All of these pictures were taken on trips that had to do with me teaching English, related to teacher training or teaching English. And I just wanted to show you and let you know what an awesome experience having this career path for me has been. I have been able to meet people from all over the world, work with amazing people, and travel to incredible places. So these are some of the places that I've been able to teach and been able to work. And I want to be able to share that with you if this is something that you might be interested in. So that's a little bit about me. Who are you? I'm guessing if you're here with us today that you are someone who likes to travel and you like to have unique and different experiences every day and not have kind of the same day one after the other. You might be in a position right now where you're in a job that you feel a little stuck, or maybe you're not getting the growth opportunities that you want, or it's not exactly what you thought it would have been, or maybe you're getting ready to graduate and move on to something new. But in either case, you're kind of starting to feel the itch to move on and try something different. You might also be someone who's really looking for an opportunity to give back, either to make a change in the world or to touch someone's life in a unique way, as like being a teacher or a mentor. This is something that a lot of us are looking for, just, to be able to connect with people. Finally, you might be someone who is interested in spending time in a specific place. Like maybe you've studied a language like Japanese and you really want an opportunity to live where you can learn that language very well and learn the culture very well. And teaching English is a great opportunity to do that. So teaching English might not be your passion, but living in Italy might be, and this is a great way for you to get there. So if you fall into any of these categories, then I'm glad you're here, and this may be a great opportunity for you. I want you to imagine what it would feel like to feel equipped with the knowledge about how to teach and how to get there and all the things you're going to need to know, and the confidence to just do this, to decide that you're going to live and work overseas. Not only that, but also to imagine knowing exactly what steps you need to take to get there. And I hope that by the end of our time together today, you will have that confidence to know that this is something you can do if you want it, and also know the steps that it takes to get there. The knowledge comes through your TESOL certificate course, and we'll talk about that later on. First, let me tell you what we're doing today. You know I'm a teacher, right? So I love quizzes. I'm going to have you take a little quiz to help you think about some of the aspects of living and teaching overseas and start to decide, is this for me? Maybe you're not 100% sure if you can do this or if it's really what you're looking for. But I would like you to think about some of this through a quiz. I have some myths, 3 myths about teaching overseas that I would like to dispel for you. And then I have 3 steps to give you to choose the best course for you that's going to help you get you the credential that you need and that you want in order to eventually teach overseas. You know that I have a course here at English for Life, but I am going to tell you just in general about how it works. Of course, we'd love to have you join us, but I also know that there's lots of options. So these are the things we're going to cover. I'm going to tell you about our new blended course, and then give you some resources at the end, and I have a big thank you bonus for those of you that stay with us and who are interested in taking our next course that starts at the end of September. Of course, throughout, please ask me your questions, and please let me know what they are, and then I'll answer them as we go along and at the end. Okay, here we go. So let me move on to my next slide here. Okay, give me just a second. I'm getting on the wrong page. Here we go. Okay. So here's a quiz for you. This is a very easy quiz. If you can count, you can take the quiz. So I have a list of statements on the next page, and all I want you to do is every time that statement sounds like you, applies to you, just count it. That's 1 that you can just take a piece of paper, make some ticks on a piece of paper, or just count on your fingers. There's a bunch, but so for example, the first one, I can't get enough of travel and I daydream about living overseas. That is me. I am that person every single day. I am dreaming about living in another place. So yes, I will count that as 1 and move on to the next one. Go ahead and take just 2 minutes, go through and count up your total number of statements that apply to you. I'll be quiet so you can do that. Okay, as you're getting to the bottom of the statements, type in the chat box for me and tell me what your number is. How many of these apply to you? How many of these make sense in your life? Cool, okay. So, wow, you have a lot of these things, guys, about things that make sense to you. I would say if you can count all the ones that you chose on one hand, if you have 5 or less, you know, this might not be the right thing for you at this moment. If you're thinking you have about 10 to 15, of these that when you read them, you just get really excited. You're like, yes, that's me. That sounds like me. Yeah, that's what I am. That's what I do. Then this might be a great career idea for you, or at least something to do for a little while. Working overseas allows you to explore all of these things that you see bullet pointed here on this page. Okay, so keeping that in mind, let me move forward and talk a little bit about some of the myths. So I've been doing this teacher training program for 11, almost 12 years now. And there's a couple questions that people always ask me, or assumptions they make, I guess I should say. So let me tell you a little bit about those. The first thing that happens is someone says to me, what do you do? And I say, I teach English to speakers of other languages, and I train people to teach English overseas. And you know what their first question to me is? Oh, well, what language do you speak? Well, I do speak another language, but that's not really relevant here. The thing is, I speak English and I teach English, and that's the language that I need in order to do my job. So that is the same for you. If you're thinking about teaching English overseas, a lot of people think they have to speak another language to do that. That is not true. You're being hired in most cases to be the professional native English speaking teacher. That means you're going to be the one who's teaching about how to really use the language. You don't have to use their language to teach it. You're going to teach in English about English all the time. And if that sounds weird, well, taking your TESOL or TESOL certificate course is what teaches you how to do that. We won't get into all that right now, but it is possible. It's even fun, and you don't need to speak the native language of your students in order to teach English. Number two, the assumption that you have to be an English major or be an English genius to teach English. So many times I say, hey, do you feel like teaching English overseas? Is this something you'd like to do? And then someone tells me, oh no, I barely speak English myself. I'm terrible at grammar. Well, you know what? Grammar is not everything. Of course, grammar is part of it. Of course, vocabulary is part of it, but there's so much more to learning how to speak another language. So you don't have to be a grammar geek like I am or an English genius. All of the information that you need is out there. You can find it if you don't know it already. Most importantly is that you can speak English and you can share with other people how language is really used in the real world and not out of a textbook. Okay, so you don't need to speak another language. You don't need to be a genius in English. And the third one is you don't need to commit to this profession for the rest of your life. So many people get into this profession because they want something different for a short time, because they want to live overseas, because they want to have on their resume that they've lived in another country, that they're fluent in another language, and that they've had the opportunity to teach. For me, I got into teaching ESL because I thought I might want to teach a little bit too late. I was already a senior in college, and I said, well, I really don't want to start over getting my degree in teaching. Let me just see if I can do this and like this. And I fell in love with it. So this is a way to get into teaching if you want to do that, but it's certainly not a lifetime commitment. The training you need to do this, your TESOL or TESOL certificate, is usually a 1 semester or less program, and it's usually under $5,000 to do it. So it's not a huge commitment of time or money, and you're not expected to do this your entire life unless you want to. Most contracts are going to be 9-month or 12-month contracts that you can renew when you end, or you can just move on to somewhere else. So it doesn't have to be a long-term commitment. Having said that, I'll give you a warning that a lot of people think it's going to be a year, and then they end up loving it and going back and getting their master's in something related and doing this for the rest of their life. So that's just a warning, but you don't have to have that on your mind when you get started. Okay, so now you've probably decided or had a chance to look at some things to decide Is this right for me? If you're still with us and this still seems like a good idea for you or something you want to know more about, let's move on to how to choose the right training program. Now, just to let you know, in some countries and in some jobs, you don't need any training. You can just kind of show up and they'll hire you to be an English teacher. And that may be the right thing for you. But I ask you, if you want to go and have a great adventure overseas, don't you want to spend most of your time having a great adventure overseas and not feeling insecure and really stressed out about a job that you don't know how to do? Would you rather be prepared so that you can do your job very well and comfortably and be able to spend your weekends doing other things? So there are options for everyone, and we're going to talk a little bit about them. You see some acronyms along the bottom here: TESOL, TEFL, TESOL, CELTA. These are all different kinds of training. They all roughly are equivalent. I'll explain them in a little bit. But first, let's get to these steps on how to choose the right program for you. First thing is, plan for the experience that you want to have. So what is the goal? What is your goal in this teaching overseas thing? Are you really just wanting to travel around, and this is something that, you know, it's nice to pull out of your back pocket just in case you might need it? Are you someone who really wants to get into academia someday, somewhere in between? I've kind of decided I'm going to put people into three categories. So one category of people I would call the nomad. Are you someone that you just want to put on a backpack and you're going to buy a ticket somewhere and you're going to just travel and you're going to have an experience and you're going to get jobs as you need it and you're going to move around as much as possible? If this is you, that's great. Know that that's the experience you want to have. If you are someone who is really looking for the opportunity to settle somewhere in one place for a time, maybe 6 months, 9 months, or a year, or maybe 5 years, who knows, and be able to live in a place and make friends and live as a person who lives in that place and learn the language and understand the culture, then that's a different experience that you want to have. And then a third category of people I will call the academics, and these are people who really want to understand. They want a TESOL program that's going to translate to credits for them. Like, they really want to be able to use this toward a master's degree. They know that they're going to go to school eventually, and this is like a break between school. So which one of those are you, or somewhere in between? Are you a nomad, someone who wants to have a bunch of different experiences in different places? Are you an adopter, someone who wants to adopt the language and customs and cultures for a short time of the new place that you're living? Or are you an academic? You're just taking a year before you go back to school. Decide, if you know which of those experiences you want, then you will have a much easier time choosing the right training program. If you're a nomad, you're not going to spend a lot of time or a lot of money on a TESOL certificate program because you may or may not use it, and it's really not your primary purpose. If you're someone who wants to have a job and live in one place for a year, or 9 months, 6 months, a year or more, then you probably want a TESOL certificate that's really going to train you to know what you're doing and really allow you to use your energy when you get there to do all those other things that you want to do living in that place, learning the language and all of those other things. If you're an academic, then the most important thing to you in a TESOL certificate program might be the credits, so that you want to make sure you're taking a program that the money that you're spending is going toward academic credits of some kind, undergraduate or graduate credits. Okay, so think about that. You might not be one or the other, you might be a combination of things, but knowing what kind of experience you want can help you plan for having the right kind of TESOL class for you. Okay, so you want to find a training program that will deliver the kind of results that you want. What is important to you? Is it important to you that you are a master teacher by the end? Is it important to you that you have some experience in teaching before you walk into that classroom somewhere overseas, not knowing the language of those people that you're teaching? Is it important to you that you can maintain a connection with your TESOL program, that they will continue to deliver resources and information to you after you graduate? Is it important to you that you have a very solid resume by the time you're done with the program that is going to get you an interview and a job? Is it important to you that that it's the cheapest program around? Is it important to you that it is the most thorough training program around? Think about what kind of results you want, and then go out and look at what's available, because there's so many options. So knowing what you want first can help you not get overwhelmed by the sheer number of programs that are available. There's some things I do want you to think about when you're choosing a program, just to help you. I've been in the field for a long time, and these are things that come up and things that you definitely want to ask the TESOL program about if you're interested in taking a course with them. So let me explain each of these to you real quick, and then I'll also tell you how we at English for Life deal with that issue. Before I do this, let me go real quick back to your questions and see if I'm missing anything. See if I can find any questions. Let's see, it takes a minute for this to upload for me, so give me just a second. Okay, I don't see anything new at the moment. So let me go back. Tell you a little bit about this. Okay. So things to keep in mind when you're choosing a TESOL program. One thing that comes up a lot is accreditation. So people will tell you, make sure that you take a program that's accredited. So let me tell you what that means. There are, as far as I know, 2 accreditation agencies in the US, and of course there are others in other places. And the accreditation agencies, it is their job to issue accreditation based on a series of criteria to a TESOL certificate school. Now, the school itself, the TESOL certificate school, this is not something that automatically gets bestowed upon you, or like when you say you're a school, they start the process of accreditation. The accreditation process is voluntary, and it is something that a school decides to undertake. And when I say undertake, I use that word not lightly, because it is a long process. It's a 3 to 5 year process for a school to get its accreditation. And it costs a bunch of money and takes a lot of time. And it's a process that really helps the school understand better its strengths and weaknesses, and helps it to make sure that it functions at a high level. So it is a good process to go through, but it is voluntary, and it is something that a school decides to undertake. Yes, when you're looking at TESOL programs, definitely look at accreditation and look and see if there is some kind of outside person or outside source or outside agency that is saying that, yep, this program works, this program is legitimate, and it's teaching all the right things. Okay. At English for Life, we have gone about this a little bit of a different way. Instead of undergoing the accreditation process through one of those 2 agencies I told you about, we've instead decided to align ourselves with universities. And there are several reasons for that. One is through a university, we can offer graduate credit for a program. So it's not a program where you're just getting a certificate, you're getting your TESOL certificate, but you're also getting graduate credit. Also, we align ourselves with universities because everybody, I mean, if you say, oh, I'm some random TESOL program, that's one thing. But if you say, and we're associated with the College of Charleston, then everyone knows that we've gone through a rigorous process of having all of our courses, our syllabi, our teachers approved to be teaching at the college level. So that's the reason why we do that. We are we partner with the College of Charleston and with Greenville Technical College, and you know that the accreditation that those colleges have run through our program as well. We have to keep our standards very high and at the level of colleges in order to maintain our relationship with them. So that's one thing that you need to think about, accreditation. Second is, how can I take this class? What's the best method of delivery? I would say that there's probably three, but we'll go with two here. There's a lot of online classes popping up. I know a lot of people who tell me, oh, I took a TEFL course online. Okay, great. And then there's also face-to-face classes where you take all your hours in a regular classroom, face-to-face. And then there are kind of hybrid or blended versions, which are a combination of the two. Most employers that I've seen want to see that you have taken at least part of your course in a face-to-face format. I'm not saying that there are not good online programs, but online programs, and I know because I teach one, I teach in one, it's very difficult to teach some of the things that are skills that teachers need to know, like practice writing on the board and having a class in front of you and giving feedback and classroom management. These are things that it's very hard to practice in an online format. Most employers would like to see that you've taken a class that meets at least partially face-to-face. Face-to-face programs, of course, that's a little harder if you're in a place that you can't get to a face-to-face program. Then online may be the best option for you. But that's something to think about. Next thing, I've seen TESOL, TEFL courses that offer money-back guarantees. And people ask me, do you have a money-back guarantee? We do not have a money-back guarantee. And I always give the example of when you go to college and you sign up, you've been admitted, and you register, and you take a class, and you don't pass the class, do you get your money back? What if you just didn't do the work? Do you able to get your money back from a college? We don't have that, but I can guarantee you that our graduates, everyone who's looked for work, has been able to find it, and multiple job options. And I would encourage you, if you find a program that has a money-back guarantee, to really understand the fine print. What does it mean when they say money-back guarantee? Usually they say, if you can't find a job, you get your money back. I would say there's no reason why you can't find a job. There's so many jobs available. And so really check into the fine print. I've read some on a couple websites, and I wouldn't be happy if I were leaning on that and expecting my money back, because it makes it a little bit challenging to get there. So that's something to look into when you're looking at a TESOL certificate course. Next one is job placement and job resources. So people ask me all the time, do you place us in jobs? My answer is no, I don't place you in a job, but I give you tons of resources in order to find the perfect job for you. We do have some job placement. Actually, I have a few schools that I'm working with right now who are offering to even pay your tuition, because they really want really good qualified teachers from English for Life. So they said, hey, if someone will come and work with us who takes your course, we will reimburse their tuition. That is job placement. But maybe you don't want to go to that school where they're located. I need to also give you the resources to find your own job, not just this one time, but any time in your life that you are looking for work teaching English overseas. So we offer a database of schools around the world that hire people with a TESOL certificate. We offer professional resume coaching with a professional resume writer, and a workshop on writing an international resume. You get a transcript, you have graduate credits, so we give you every possible thing that we can, because it is our job to help you get a job overseas. So just because we don't have job placement doesn't mean that you are left out in the cold. The other thing that is so exciting to me and really important is that we have a private Facebook group of our community of graduates. So this is all of our teachers and all of our people who have graduated from our program in the past 10 years. And we are in communication. So if someone is in Japan and a position comes open in their school, then they'll let us know, and they'll say, hey, English for Life people, my school is great. I really like it, and there's a position open. Does anybody want to know more about that? So we make sure that we keep connected with our graduates, and it's not just one-way communication. It's everyone helping each other out. And so that is a great job resource for now and until, it goes on and on. So people have checked back into that, 5, 6, 7 years after they've taken the course. You can always check back in and say, hey, I'm looking for a job here. Do you have suggestions? Finally, my last bit of advice in choosing a program is look into your options, see what's available, know what you want, and look for it, and then ask questions. You should be asking questions about all of these things, about their job placement. You should ask if you can talk to some of their graduates. You should ask if you can find out who their teachers are. There should be some kind of transparency, so you know who's going to be teaching your program, what are their credentials, all of these kinds of things. Don't be afraid to ask questions. I'm always happy when people ask me questions because it shows me that they're really interested and they're doing their research, and I want to show them that we do our best to make sure that you learn how to teach a class and get you overseas and get you a job there. Okay, so don't be afraid to ask questions of a program. At the very least, you should leave a training program with the tools to be a good teacher, with resources to find a good job, and with some experience teaching. You want to make sure that you have some kind of practicum in your program so that you get experience during that TESOL certificate process. Okay, guys, I feel like I'm talking so much. I'm going to check real quick back and see if you have questions. So let me know. Go ahead. Type in your questions if you have any. Okay. Great. Okay. So the ones I'm seeing here, I've kind of answered already because I'm a little behind, which is fine. Good. So nothing new that I can see yet. So let me move on to telling you a little bit about English for Life. I've kind of been telling you as we go along, but just a little informational interlude. Actually, let me show you my face again. You don't have to keep watching my screen. Hey, everybody. So a little bit about English for Life. I started English for Life in 2001. Those were my first English classes and students that I worked with. And in 2004, we ran our first TESOL certificate program. Within that time, I realized that I wanted to hire teachers and I wanted to find a great way to train teachers. And then I thought, well, if I just train teachers for myself, I love the experiences that I had been able to have overseas, and I wanted to help people get there and help them have a program that was super practical and fun, that they would leave really knowing what to do in the classroom and not just knowing the theory or reading a book and not just being thrown right into a classroom, but really getting the tools that they needed so that they could move forward. So I worked with a team of teachers internationally and teacher trainers to put this program together. I relied on many different sets of criteria for TESOL certificate programs. The United States has one, Canada has one, the UK, Australia has a great one. So I put all of those together to see what does the world think that English teachers need to know, and then got with my team of teachers and said, what do really practical teachers feel like English teachers need to know? And we kind of went from there. So we graduated our first class in 2004. We have over 250 graduates now, which I'm really proud of and excited about. Just in this past year, we've had graduates finish and get jobs in China, Thailand, Hungary, Bulgaria, let me think here, Japan, another one in China, going through my list of students, Ghana, and then locally as well. So we have teachers teaching and working in international programs all over South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, North Carolina. And I've had 2 teachers this year get jobs in South Carolina working in adult education. One in North Carolina working with college students. So we're really excited to help you get with jobs that are exciting and fun, where you get to have good experiences and meet great people every day. What else about English for Life? In addition to TESOL certificate programs, we do consulting and training for universities and for corporations that work with internationals and want to find more effective ways to communicate and have better, just better use of your resources. Being in a diverse international environment is so enriching if you know how to leverage it. So I've worked with multiple colleges and different corporations. I've had an opportunity to do summer camps as well. I've worked personally in Mexico, in Nicaragua, in Korea, and in Ecuador. So again, I love what I do, and I'm excited to share it with you all. So I'm going to move back to my slide and move on here so that you know a little bit about where we're coming from at English for Life. All right, so moving on to the last step, how to find your resources, gather them, and then get to your new location where you're going to live. So before, during, and after the time you're taking your TESOL certificate course, there's other things you need to think about, obviously. So one is having a resume and all your other documents. In many schools, most schools, in order to get a work visa overseas, will ask you to do a background check, so you can go ahead and get started on getting your background check taken care of. Sometimes that takes some time. Having your resume, having all of your documents like your diplomas from school and things like that. Start getting those collected all in one place. You're going to do some research on where you want to go. Now, we have lots of resources to share with you. There's lots of stuff online as well, and of course, libraries and bookstores have books on teaching English overseas, what you can expect at different locations, what you can expect in different kinds of schools, and you can find all that information to help you figure out what is a good place for you to be. Working on your job search and interviews is something that you're going to be doing during and after your TESOL certificate class. We, as I said, have a database to help you look for the right schools and find jobs. I am very accustomed to making calls or taking calls from schools, just checking in and making sure that we're a real program. And so I do lots of those things and make sure that you get to the jobs you want to have. You may be offered more jobs than you ever imagined, because there's lots of jobs out there. So don't be afraid. If you find a job that doesn't feel like the right fit, don't feel pressured that you have to take that job. There are other jobs as well. And sometimes something just doesn't feel right. Maybe it's not the right location, or not who you wanted to work with, or something just seems weird about the situation. You've probably heard of scams out there. Of course there's scams. There's scams in every field. So if you get in a situation with a job or someone asking you to take a job that seems a little weird or doesn't feel right to you and what you're looking for, don't be afraid to say no. There will be other jobs. I just helped a student recently who was contacted by someone who said they really want them to teach at their school, but the school doesn't exist yet. But it just, it seemed like, do you really want to get in this situation? Even if it is perfectly legitimate, it seems like it would be a hard situation to be in. So decide if that's what you want to be doing, or if you can say no, you'll find something else. Another thing you're going to be looking into is language and cultural information. So are you learning the language a little bit so that you feel comfortable when you get there? What kind of cultural information do you need to know? Just the basic stuff on how not to insult people and that kind of stuff is always helpful before you leave. There's lots of blogs and websites out there about travel tips. You're thinking of leaving moving for an extended period of time, how do you make that happen without 17 different suitcases? So those things are always fun to look at, how to travel safely and compactly. And then even how to pack your bags. So it's making sure you're taking what you need and not taking all the stuff that you can find there anyway. So these are some of the other things that you're going to want to be doing to get yourself ready to teach overseas. This is the fun stuff. I love this part of the process, even though it can be frustrating, but it's really fun. Okay, so there's your 3 steps on how to get yourself overseas. So first thing was just getting organized. Second thing, figuring out which program is right for you. And then the third one, all of those other details, the logistical things to get yourself there. You can do this if you want to. Many people have done it. I've done it. And we hope that if this is something you want, that you'll make the plunge and do it too. I am really grateful for you and you're sharing your time with me today and being here with me and listening to what I have to say. I hope that we can be of service to you. If during this you realized, oh, I'm that nomad person who doesn't really want a certificate, or I think I need to get a master's degree instead of a TESOL certificate, or anything like that, then I wish you all the best. And I hope you have wonderful adventures as you teach English locally or around the world. If listening to this you thought, oh gosh, I think English for Life is the place for me, then I want to offer to you a discount for our upcoming class. Our next class is starting very soon. In fact, it is next week. It starts on September 25th. And if you would like to register, registration ends tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So you basically have 24 hours to get me your application. If you get me your application and everything looks okay by tomorrow at 5 o'clock, you get $250 off the total tuition of the course as a thank you for being part of this webinar. And also, if you are not sure yet, I would also like to offer you a 15-minute free phone consultation. I do job coaching as well as TESOL training. So if I can help point you in the right direction, I would be happy to do so. I have no interest in talking you into being with me if it's not right for you. So there is no obligation with this 15-minute phone call. I will be happy to chat with you and do a little bit of coaching to help you figure out what might the right direction be for you. So I can only offer this to 10 people because this all has to happen in the next 24 hours. So you can email me. My email will be on the next slide. And email me right away and let me know, yes, I want to chat with you, and we'll get on the phone and I'll see if I can help point you in the right direction. Okay? If right now isn't the right time for you and you're thinking about doing this sometime in the future, that is excellent too. And I hope that you will jump on over to our website and sign up to get our free Teach Abroad travel kit. And with that, we'll also send you about 1 email a month just to keep you updated. We have classes coming up in the spring. We have class in the summer in Greenville and also in Ecuador. So that is my favorite class. I hope that you'll join us at some point. Now, let me just run back over here and make sure that I don't have any additional questions from you all. Okay, I have a question about the class, of course, that makes sense. So the upcoming class is, it starts on September 25th, and you have 2 options, 2 versions that you can take. You can take the face-to-face version. The face-to-face version meets for 6 weekends, and it is Friday night, Saturday 9 to 6, and Sunday 10 to 2 for 6 weekends, and then your practicum is completed during and after that time. And that's in Greenville, South Carolina. Now, if you don't live here and you only can come for a short time, then maybe the blended hybrid version is for you. That starts on September 26th. We gather on a Google chat, just very much like this one, except it's interactive, more like Skype. And I will show you everything you need to know to access our website, to access the course material. You'll be completing lessons on your own, and we will get together on Saturday mornings from 9 to 12 to go over the material and take it a little bit further, a little bit deeper, and then you will be in Greenville for 2 or 3 weekends. So if that might work better for you, then you are more than welcome to take that version of it. Both of them are the same price. They are $19.97. I can't believe I didn't put that on a slide, but it's $19.97 for both the face-to-face course and the blended course. Both of them are worth 6 graduate credits, and the price of those credits are in your tuition already. So if you can transfer these credits somewhere, it's a really great price for this class. And I am happy to offer you $250 off for our upcoming fall class, okay? I just checked. I didn't see any other questions besides the one about the upcoming class schedule. Please know that I will be sending you an email this afternoon that's going to have the link to the playback. If you want to share this with someone, you can forward it to them. And I will also include in that email the real schedules, so you have all the details on the schedules for the upcoming classes. So you'll be getting that within the next hour or two. Okay? All right. I thank you all for being here. I am so excited that I can share with you these beautiful pictures, which are all from my students and the places that they've taught. The middle one here, I think, is Palestine. The right one is Thailand. The left one is Hungary. And these are all pictures that students have sent back to me, and I love to share them in this PowerPoint, just like I love to share the idea with you of living, teaching, and traveling overseas. So I hope this has caught your imagination. If it's something that's for you, please email me, give me a call, whatever. And I will end today with a quick quote. Travel is more than the seeing of sights. It's a change that goes on deep and permanent in the ideas of living. So I want to thank you very much. I hope that travel will change you for the positive, and I wish you good luck on your global adventures. My email is actually not on here, is it? But I will email you, and you can just respond to that. Let me know if you'd like to take advantage of the phone consultation, or send me your registration if you're ready. Thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.